not going to
doing a neat platform moment where we know everybody's doing.
Yeah, we're waiting for you to get off the phone.
I'm sorry.
We're doing a meet and greet with whoever Jill's talking to.
Kathy says hi.
I tell Kathy go away.
So, okay, bye.
I can't catch.
Yeah.
I'm really actually bad at it.
Good catch.
Oh, cool.
Allison over there again.
I am the light that shines in the dark. Huh? Dan's gonna play Angry Birds.
Yeah, I'm winning, so I'm gonna just
We also know Jim.
Hi.
I know Jim.
So I guess we're waiting for David Sitbon.
Yeah.
Does Dave not know he can meet us? Somebody texting. We have his number.
Really. This is like formal, guys.
Yeah, we've been
This is very formal.
The panel presentation, are you prepared?
Oh yes, we actually stayed up very late last night, writing down answers, anticipating questions, you know, referencing material that we had discussed years and years ago. Yeah, so we are very, very prepared for all 8 of you, 9 of you to ask me questions. Just feels awkward without David.
Quite frankly, it's like
You are videoing this, right, Dad? You are taping?
Yeah, oh, you're live. You are live.
Dave, you're not here and we miss you.
And it's really hard to start without.
It's a little awkward without you, so I'm hoping that at some point during the filming you show up. And if not, I hope Peggy feels better. She was a little bit weather. Can we get a...
Aww.
But hopefully she feels better.
Yay.
Thank you for the honey and the penny.
Yes, thank everybody for your...
And your cats have more
Yes,
things
yes.
to shove under the door.
They will try.
so. What do you want to talk about?
We should have started on some other plans.
We probably should. Well, I got to tell you this much. Jim and I have had a couple small conversations, and there's some stuff that we need to talk about as a band that he's got some things and ideas.
Probably not here though.
No, not here, but I wanted to take this moment to talk to you about.
Okay.
And I need to talk to you about something. I need to talk to you about something.
Band meeting.
Because this, yeah, you can sit on the band meeting. Saturday morning, I got a text from Amadea, and I've been trying to tell you the content of the text for 24 hours now. And I haven't been able to. She can't do Wizard Rock Weekend with us. She has to, but she is trying to make a show Sunday night and in Chicago with us, Rachel Surrender, and the Dark Clan.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
Oh,
So-
Allison, I have something for you too. Did you see the last Shield?
No, but is it about the heating? I read.
I don't really know. I don't know yet.
Okay.
I don't know yet.
I was like, I have to know what's up. Spoiler alert.
Okay, because I have to go home and catch up on that. All right, so no talking about Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. It's okay.
There went my question.
Yes.
We're playing tonight. We had a set that was set up to play. We were going to play a Saturday show and a Sunday show. There were different sets, and last night we mysteriously decided to play the Sunday set, and also mysteriously stopped in the middle of the set.
So today will be Saturdays.
Right, it's been properly thrashed, and it now knows its place.
So yeah, it's like going back in time. So
We're doing
Yes.
the time.
that's as close to Time Lord as we can get. It's just a step to that. Yeah. You're behind the camera, so this is basically a video footage of us watching. So we just released a new album, which most of you know, and I think most of you contributed to the Kickstarter. Thank you. We honestly couldn't have done it without you and 40 other people. And Daniel Greenwolf even talked about it. He's like, I was so impressed with how quickly you met goal. And
So we,
very impressive.
what, 4 days?
No, we met goal in less than 2 days.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, so the remaining 26 days, we're just watching it steadily sort of increase. So.
That's why we have hoodies. So we can afford hoodies.
We sold out of all the extra larges. Yeah,
So
the extra large hoodies.
we should make more of those.
We're going to make more extra large hoodies. I won't mention names, but someone sacrificed owning one so that Dave Sitlon could have one. It was very nice of someone, no names, just someone here. So, like I said, we have new album and new stuff, so feel free, ask away. What's on your mind? What do you want to know?
So I can tell you a little story about how we recorded it. It's fun. Okay, story time. So, Nigel, Allison, and I. This is good. This is a really fun album to record because we did it all in my bedroom. like literally sitting on my bed with a laptop and all these cables everywhere going to Allison's drum kit. And what's really exciting about this album is that like all the percussion, except for like the metronome, were all recorded by Allison in my bedroom. True story. It's also the first album where we have like real drum kit stuff that Allison actually recorded in her house and sent me the files, and I managed to fit it all together, and then I do a bass on it, and that was fun. Fretless bass even, yeah, it was fun. But and I don't remember the name of the song on that because to me all the songs are like, you know, endless beat.
Rainmaker, shovel face.
Yeah. Chicken and Pot Pie made the album, which I was really excited.
Chicken and pot pie is on there. If you remember the Facebook video of Dan doing his chicken and pot pie, and he takes the headphones off and puts it over the iPhone so you can actually hear the music. But
And it's really chicken and pot pie. It became the year silent, but it was for me chicken and pot pie.
it will always be chicken and pot pie to you. What goes good with ice cream? Chicken and pot pie. This is one of the first albums where you have a couple slower tracks in the middle of it, kind of, you know, this album is both minimalistic and broader and it's varied, so it's a little over, I like it. This is good because we released it, so.
You should have heard the one we deleted.
We put out 8 albums we didn't like.
The church that's on the
Yes.
front cover, what church is that? And the album is called The Last Cathedral. Why?
Well, I can answer. I can't, but Carol can answer the first part of your question.
Okay.
Do you know the name of the church?
No, I don't.
You know, it's in France, though, right?
No, it's not. It's Germany.
It's Germany.
It's in
It's a real
Cologne.
cathedral
It is-
and
It's in
large.
Cologne, Germany.
And this is a great story. It's large
It's
enough.
large enough that the cathedral forms fog inside the cathedral.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Which is huge.
Wow.
It does. I've walked through it in the fog.
I would love to see it. No, Dave Chrisman of Grindleston Design Studios, who's done most of our artwork since the other side of December. When we gave him the album title, he and I were talking. We had these great ideas for the different keys, because we had like 4 different key sigils for the band, and we had this great idea like stained glass, like the different keys and different panes, and light shining through it. And he and I were very much on the same page. And about a week or so later, he went back and said, "I can't make that work. Everything I try to construct in that theme is not working. But here's what I have, and here's what I like." And David is often very much in tune with us. He usually sends us 2 or 3 ideas. We shoot one way down, and we embrace the other 2. But with this one, we liked the whole sort of thing. There was one adjustment we made to the interior of the album, where if you open it up, initially where the CD was and the CD tray was, were going to be pews and sort of the altar and everything. And after a little sort of band discussion about that, we decided that was a little too literal and maybe a little too churchy. So let's dial it back and just keep it you know, crisp and clean, and have the architecture and the mood be the thing, and not have it be literal. Because he was very, he's like, it's literal. Like you open the album, and now you're in the cathedral. Here's all the pews. Like, yeah, that was his. Yes, here's open up, see all the empty pews, and I was like, that's lovely, and I get it. Too literal. Can we just back this down a bit?
So, are we in the album picture? It's our picture, right?
Our picture, when you open up the booklet,
I thought
sure. And post it, and that'll be Dan going, I'm in the album. Now, yeah, when you open up the booklet, there's a picture of us, a photographer.
Yeah, a friend of mine, Natalie Volvic, took it. She's a fabulous photographer, and she didn't charge us a cent, which was really nice.
Very nice. Well, you had to take her out for dinner.
Oh yeah, that's
You never did that, did you?
I did.
Oh, you did?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, then she got like
That week.
that very
Well,
week.
we do that. We do back and forth all the time. So
So she did a good deal.
not really.
Sorry, Natalie. But yeah, so Dave took that photo and he sort of shopped it in and made it into the interior of the cathedral, the light streaming down.
Shaved a few pounds off me the next day.
Yes. I have one chin, Dan has one huge chin, but it's what he has. No work was done to Allison because Dave said, he's like, I have the light shining down, and he's like, Allison's so pretty, and you guys are just in the photo. I know. And then Andrew Sega, formerly of Iris and currently of the Mighty Chief, and what's his solo thing?
The Strong Current.
Strong Current, yes.
Industrial.
Sort of thing. Did the mastering again for us.
And the mixing. This actually was really cool because all I had to do is I just had to take all these little wave files of, here's a track of Nigel singing, here's a track of keyboards, track of bass line, track of drums. We'd have each of the drums separated on their own tracks. Then we just send him all these files and magic. I was like, wow, this is awesome.
Previously we mixed it in-house, and Jesse, who was in the band, a former guitarist, and Dan would do a lot of the mixing. And the only problem with that is you hear it so many times. You hear the recording, you hear my 18 takes, 19 takes, one take Bartlett, that's what they call me. And that's a subtle joke for somebody. And you spend so much, you live with it for so long that eventually you're like, it sounds fine, whatever. And so to get a fresh set of ears, to get somebody brand new to come into it and be like, okay. And he has so much experience, years of experience doing it, he's like, this is good, that's shady. And he can move it about.
Yeah, I did some preliminary mixes which we might release as demos later on, like as piecemeal sort of things. But, yeah, because the thing about recording is you can get used to, just like if you have like a distorted track, you can get used to that sound after a while, and so you don't hear it anymore. So
Jesse can't hear pennies on a can.
true. So yeah, like this album, I really like it. It's good. So it was really fun.
Two of us have said we like it. How do you feel about the new album?
I like
I think it has a more band approach to it because it's not quite. It's like Nigel said, it's a more minimalist approach to the sound.
And to answer the second part of your question,
Oh, there was a second.
there was a second
The
part.
second part was
Why the last
why
one?
the last cathedral, why the title of that. Because the other ones you can kind of see coming from the industrial, darker,
Well, the other side-
aspect that your band seems to portray and drop there, and the other side.
Well, I can back catalog this for you and answer this question. There's an album called Confessions of the Sorrow Tree, which is only available digitally, and that album title was taken from mixtapes that I used to make, because I used to make mix back in the days, how old we are. Back in the day, I used to make mixtapes, and I would label sides of tapes and whatnot, and I would give them what I thought were clever names based on the songs contained therein. The Sorrow Tree was on there somewhere, and I just thought Confessions of the Sorrow Tree was a very sort of emotive title. The album, that particular album, is very sort of moody and emotive. The Other Side of December actually comes from a line from the song Naked on Confessions. And so we sort of took that line and made it the album title for the following album.
There's another side to that too. We're trying to decide where we're going to release the album.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, no, that's the next one. That's the next one. I'm sorry. That's
Well,
fine.
the other side of, I got a very important piece of advice for a friend of mine in the music industry who said, if your album's going to come out near the end of the year, push it back and wait till January. Because it doesn't matter if your album is a month old. As of January 1st, it's last year's album. You know, so if you release an album in November or December, come January, though, that's last year's album.
And in discussing this, we said, well then, if the record isn't ready before the fall, then we should release it next year. And that's where the name for Before the Fall came from.
So, well, before the fall, I had this sort of vision of releasing an album called Falling Days, and we didn't do it because most of the songs that were going to be on it ended up being on Before the Fall. So Before the Fall was supposed to be sort of like this precursor. Before the Fall, then the Following Days, which didn't happen. And then the song had names as as a title track. So that the name of that song was just sort of so interesting. I thought it would be cool as an album title, and we all agreed on that.
I apparently don't take part in these discussions.
There are several in-depth band discussions.
Usually on the road at like 4 in the morning when we're driving and listening to a rager.
One of us might be asleep. There's lots of band discussions when one of us might be completely sound asleep. And then the last Cathedral, we have 3 sets that are available for the band. My Love Remains, Sacred Moment, and Sanctuary. And My Love Remains and Sacred Moment are both song titles. And the scents we had designed, we had worked with a company called Moon Dancer. She handcrafted scents for us. And named after songs. Sanctuary isn't named after a song. I had every intent of writing a song called Sanctuary. And I have lyrics kicking around for a song called Sanctuary. And I had this sort of sanctuary theme stuck in my head. So the last Cathedral sort of came out of that. But I like when the music started emulating this sort of minimalist sort of bands, the early Covenant sort of thing.
Yeah.
That we're all very much into, them more than me. It's that 8-minute noise track. I just can't get it. But I sort of really like the idea of the isolation and that sort of feeling, and yet there was depth behind it, so that's where it came from. Somebody asked us, like, wow, the last cathedral is so big. It's like, that's
The only cathedral you'll ever need.
Well, it's interesting finding out the real sort of Before the Fall, because I took the biblical sense of it, and it's hilarious learning that it had no lofty connotations whatsoever. It's just a complete production FU, and I find that even greater because it makes you guys more real and less like, yes, it's about the Elysium that existed before Satan took wing. And
Well, that's true too.
In the past I've written some very spiritual songs and lyrics, and there are songs like The Cross and Scare and things that where I do address certain issues as far as spirituality, but I mean it's never been the main focus of the band. It will never be the main focus of the band. And thank you for testing it, sir. And Dan is often distracted by shiny things. That's why we keep house. But I sometimes want to say things that are whatever, important for social reasons or political reasons or spiritual reasons, but it's never going to be the main focus of the band. We're never going to be like, one of those sort of preachy
I do look good in bottom sunglasses.
You do. It's true.
At least somebody does.
Any other questions? What else would you like to know? What have you always wondered, never asked? You, sir.
Right. All right. I presume that Platform One has not existed from the beginning of time. You didn't, come out of your mother's womb and go, I am starting a band called Platform One. Yes. Individually or as a whole, I don't know how, if you guys have been doing this together, for before Platform One. What projects, what bands you started? What kind of music that you played before you found the type of music that you currently do?
I was in a bunch of crappy guitar bands before Platform One. I played bass a lot. I'm a mediocre guitarist at best, so I was a bass player. And I ran sound for a band called Euphoria, which was an all-synthesizer band. And that's when I went, ooh, I could do that. I really like Depeche Mode and Information Society. I could totally do that. And then I went off and wrote an album that was like New Order's like redheaded stepchild brother thing. It was really, I didn't realize what a New Order ripoff I was until years later. And I was in Kentucky at the time and relocated, moved about, and I got the band together in Rhode Island. And I was recording Confessions of the Cemetery. And Amadea, who was in the band for a while, was doing it with me. And eventually I took a CDR to Club Hell in Providence, Rhode Island, where DJ Dan was spinning, the resident DJ, and I always make this story bigger than it is, but with some huge amount of hope, I said, this is my album, you play this, and Dan, with a huge amount of smugness, went, I'll listen to it.
Let me interject here real quick. I was a goth DJ in Providence in Boston, and we were really particular about music we played.
The crowd was big.
There was a huge club in Boston, Man Ray, that at the time people were coming to us because we were an alternative to the Man Ray sound we had. We were playing different music. We were playing a lot of like European stuff, and I would get a lot of CDs, and my general policy was I don't play local music because if I have to say no to somebody, I'm going to say no to everybody, because there was a lot of local bands that had followings, but really their recordings weren't that great. Mm-hmm. So that's why I was like, yeah, okay, I'll check it out. But as a policy, I don't play local music.
I know.
So continue.
So anyhow, about a week or two later, it wasn't very long, Dan either spun the music or came up to me. And
You came up to me, you're like, what do you think? And I said,
I have a cassette of a lot of music I've been working on.
yeah.
Do you need a keyboardist?
You need a bass player.
You need a bass player? Oh
I was a
yeah.
bass player.
And eventually he gave me a cassette of music that sounded like Tears for Fears' album The Hurting, which is weird because he hadn't heard that album until a decade later.
True story.
Early 80s DJ never spelled Hurting. Anyhow. But so he did give me this tape and I'm listening to it, and bear in mind a lot of synth bands, it's bass, very simple drums and one other sound. They're happy, they're done. And he gave me this cassette of like very layered, textured, and I was like, this is great. And so I was like, yeah, come on. And so the band became Dan, Amadea, and then Amadea left. We went through a couple people, moved around and whatnot, and then there's a really long story to get you into the band. The simplified short version is that she was a fan of the band, and then we dated, and the girlfriend of the band conversation didn't come up because I'd done that before and it didn't work out because the girl couldn't sing. I had apologized to fans a year or two later for the bad vocals of the band. It was a true story. And But when we moved in together, all this drum stuff is moving, and all these hand drums and things, and all this percussion is just moving into the apartment. And I'm like, wow. So conversations started happening, and it happened. I forget how it actually really.
Oh, it'd be great if we could have a drummer one day. I'm a drummer, you know?
You have a futon watching dance
Yeah.
moms, and eventually I'm like, God, I wish we had a drummer. And she's like,
It's like if you guys have watched the last Muppet movie, when they're like, yeah, then we had to recruit Rolf. And they go to his house and they're like, Rolf, you want to be in a band? Yep.
and
I first saw Platform 1 at 13 Lilies in Boston, and I went for another band. And then I went to buy the other band's merch, and they had already packed up and left. And I was like, well, that other band wasn't too bad, so I'll buy their cassette, I guess. So
you weren't too bad.
they weren't too bad, so I was like, I'll get theirs. They're a little jazzy, but that's all right.
You got a little swing.
Got a swing going.
Get a little jazz up in our swang.
You know.
So I had the cassette for years.
Yeah. And Jesse, I knew Jesse for years, and he came in and played. He eventually came and played guitar. He loved to be in a metal band, and he's responsible for the metal remixes of our music that appears in the CD singles. And then we worked with Tim from Brand New Wild for a while, and but that's as far as what I did before Platform One. I was in crappy guitar bands that were very, very limited. You were in a lot of bands before Platform One.
I was. I played bass in a lot of punk bands growing up. I was in a punk band that nobody's ever heard of. That was kind of had an okay following around Massachusetts area, like mostly the Cape, called Too Many Gens. After that, there was a Worcester-based band called Suicide While Driving, which got all kinds of weird awards from Worcester magazine places, saying that we were like some sort of experimental act. And really, all we were two guitarists, a drummer, two guitarists and a drum machine. So it wasn't all that original, but I guess for Worcester it was. I'm currently playing bass in a couple of like roots rock type bands around Massachusetts. I've been playing bass since I was 13, so that's to me my main instrument. I actually have a MIDI bass that like most of the stuff I write, I'll write it on bass. But I play here and little flutes come out. It's really cool. So part of me actually wouldn't mind playing MIDI bass on stage, but I have this weird mental block where I can't sing and play bass at the same time.
It is different. I mean, playing rhythm guitar and singing is very, very natural and easy, but bass is often rhythm and counter rhythm.
Yeah.
So it's difficult to sing in the upbeat.
It's hilarious. I can't even talk while I play bass. It's hilarious. I'm like, it doesn't work. My brain just doesn't click. It's weird.
What did you do before Platform?
Sat in my room.
Watch Forever Nine? Watch a lot of Forever Nine?
No, ironically, I got together with a few different projects, but played keys, but didn't go anywhere with it. Didn't play out with anybody. My friends had a bunch of musical projects, and we had a percussion group called Tomfoolery that is recorded out there somewhere on cassette. I have a very poor spoken word keyboard project that no one will ever hear again. And drum-wise, I played through school. I started playing drums when I was little because I thought I didn't have to learn to read music. So that was very intimidating. So I was like,
How'd that work out for you?
no, I had to learn music. And then I played hand drums after high school through, just drum circles and jamming. So then it wasn't until Platform One that I had to sit down and go, oh, I have to learn to count to 4 again, a lot.
Having seen a lot of your shows, you all have certain styles, certain flavors, some of the same outfits that we will see. What is the most outrageous or odd costume that you've ever had on stage?
This is gonna be some Elton John stuff.
No, there's video footage of me in a vinyl skirt and some shiny tight shirt and then a Hot Topic ruffled cotton thing over it. I was dating somebody at the time before she was in the band who didn't tell me that it looked like I lost the bet. But looking back at the video footage, it looks like I lost the bet. Have you seen that? I look ridiculous in that.
So is this posted on the Tube of You?
Yeah, it is. It is.
What's the
We have 51 minutes. Okay. So yeah, that's, you know, often I threaten things.
You look very gothy, it wasn't horrible.
I don't know, I look back at it and I'm like, oh,
I always look good.
I've threatened to do shows in sundresses and to make the band dress up and stuff. And we keep talking about doing a pajama jam.
I would love to do a pajama show. I love a Sunday pajama show. I think it'd be amazing.
At 4 in the morning, right?
Because they have to check out.
We haven't worked out.
Yeah, we need to do like a late Saturday night show and do a jammy jam.
I think the worst thing I've ever worn on stage was when Too Many Gents played. I once dressed as a mime. I was covered in blood. When I was in my first band in high school, which I named because I'm awesome at naming bands. It was called Atomic Tree Breakfast.
Makes sense.
It totally does. And I wore plaid and acid wash jeans.
Yeah, baby.
In my defense, it was 1991. Yeah.
I wore Doc Martens and frilly shirts on.
I had Docs on, yeah, I had Doc Martens on, but like I had acid wash jeans.
What's the worst thing you've worn on stage?
I don't think I have a worst.
What's the most uncomfortable thing you've worn on stage?
It's tough drumming in person.
But it does look amazing.
And that's what's amazing.